Crossovers. We've seen these at the CrossFit Games, we've seen them in quarterfinals, so we know they're going to be happening in competition. Now is the time for you to start nailing them. So if you're struggling, don't worry. In this video, we're going to be taking you some tips and advice that we give to our athletes to help you. One of the most important things, which we also mentioned in our double under tutorial, is the equipment that you are using. If you haven't seen that tutorial, check it out now. This video isn't sponsored. All of this information is just what we've picked up over a period of time practicing with different ropes. Right now we have 4 ropes. This is the rope. You know, this is like our classic double under rope. And the height for this, I would say for someone my height, this is relatively advanced. So if I can do double unders with this, I'm going to be moving quite quickly. However, for crossovers, because of the length that I need, this is going to be slightly too challenging for my ability levels. We've then got a beaded rope. This is actually like a cheap beaded rope. I have no idea how much this costs, but you know, probably under £10, something like 10 euros, whatever it may be. You notice plastic handles, just a piece of string to adjust. But one of the biggest differences between this and a more expensive version is actually the weight. There's not much weight to this rope, which I would say makes it slightly harder to, or slightly easier for it to get tangled up. I'll take it onto the next beaded rope. I immediately notice here there's slightly more weight to it. Also the handle, we've got a metal handle now, which just makes it nicer feel. But that extra weight can help you have a bit more control of the rope, or feel of control. It's slightly shorter, but this would probably be like an advanced height for my crossover doubles. You know, this would probably be very good for me for learning, because I've got a bit more compensation when I cross my arms. And then finally, this was actually a rope we used from the Crown, a competition we ran last year. You can check out the Crown, check out the video. It was a great event. We just did 200 drag rope double unders for time. It's not great for doing multiple reps, but it can be really nice for learning, especially with singles, because it gives you good feedback. The weight's there. You don't need the handle, so you can adjust. But honestly, the ropes don't need to be expensive for learning the technique. A person who is good at double unders, good at using a jump rope, is going to be good with any type of rope. However, there are certain principles, one being the length of the rope needs to be higher than for advanced double unders. The other thing is beaded or slightly thicker rope is probably going to help, because it slows the rope down and allows you to have a bit more time for feeling the technique. So I'm super lucky to be joined by Alina. Alina is going to be helping us demo the movements that we're going to be doing. One thing I really want you to take note of, it's important to set yourself up for success. And what I mean by that is when you start practicing double unders or crossover double unders, singles, whatever it may be, don't just go into the gym and start trying 10 reps, failing. One reason, it's really hard on the calves and the lower body. The other reason is we want to learn the basics first. We want to set that foundation right, and these drills can do this. So the first drill, this is almost like target practice. So Alina's just going to do the crossover and catch the rope on her toes. And again. Nice. Really simple, but actually what you'll find is that some people struggle because they're going slightly off to the left, slightly off to the right. What this first drill does is make sure that I'm crossing the rope at the right points and catching it equally under both toes. Exercise number 2 for us is going to be exactly the same, like target practice. We just take it one step further. Arguably you could call this a half single under. Half single under crossover. So Alina's just going to do this now. She crosses once and then going to catch it on the second rep. So those first 2 exercises are great for just target practice, like I said. You want to make sure that you're crossing at the right point and then uncrossing at the right point. As soon as you get lopsided with the cross, it makes it very hard to complete either the single or the crossover double under. Next up, we want to start playing a little bit. As long as we're sure that we can connect on our target practice drills, we're going to start playing and opening up the possibilities a bit now. So as I mentioned at the start of this video, we want to be successful in our attempts, even when practicing. And one way we can be successful, you'll notice here, we're just using the ropes that we got. Obviously, it doesn't have to be this thick, it's just to give you an idea. But obviously, the rope is not connected, and that makes it easier for us to practice. So Aline's gonna grab the ropes, and literally we're just gonna practice the upper body movement now. So we can practice the crossovers, and each repetition is successful. When we have the connected rope, obviously that's not always the case. So this is a very easy way to develop that upper body coordination and start to develop how you can start to master the crossover. One point that I haven't mentioned yet is how you cross the arms or which arm goes on top. Honestly, it's just personal preference. You guys choose which happens naturally and then just stick with that motion. You don't need to worry too much about which hand it is, but what I would do, especially as you're learning and beginning, just keep that one hand going in order to develop the confidence with the technique. Then once you get more confident and better, you can start mixing around different hands on top, but as you're learning, just stick one hand on the top to start. So once we're happy with the hand coordination, we can now start to add in alternating singles, normal singles, or even doubles. So Aline's just going to go through a series of that. So we'll go alternating singles to start. Alternate, yeah, that's it. So we've got our alternating singles, then we just go singles, and now we're going to go doubles. Okay, and relax. So again, I know it seems a bit strange because obviously we don't have this connected rope, but this drill can be really useful in making sure you're confident with what the upper body should be doing and the lower body should be doing whilst being successful. The next stage is now we're going to go back to our connected rope and see if we can put all of those things together. The next drill is actually the exercise, which is our crossover single under. So Aline's just going to go through those movements and we'll just accumulate 10 reps. Now all we have to do is look at how we can apply that to the next step, which is our crossover double under. For those of you who want to start advancing the technique, I don't necessarily recommend jumping higher all the time. However, it can be really useful to start getting accustomed to the movement. So if you need that as a compensation, we're going to jump a little bit higher. And obviously on a single jump, we have to cross and uncross the hands. When doing this, we want to make sure it's not too excessive, meaning we don't want to come all the way across the body and then unleash, because that's going to make the next consecutive rep harder. So we're going to get Alina now just to go through 5 crossover double unders. Nice, I think that deserves a high five. Boom. Yeah. So there we have it. Obviously within the jump rope world there are a lot more complex movements, but for CrossFit right now, this alongside maybe the triple under are the hardest movements that we have. If you set the foundations correctly, you'll be able to do them as easy as Alina, but setting those foundations is crucial. As always, if you guys have any questions or want any feedback, just post comments below. It's always great for us to receive those. One thing that I mentioned in our double under video, practice is important, and you guys understand that, but there's a really good warm-up in there, and in that warm-up you can also add in some of these drills. You can add in some of the crossover single unders with the non-connected rope, whatever it may be, but check it out and add these exercises in. Check out the link below. We have a link to all our courses. You get guided through 6-week progressions of how to get better, so hopefully that can help you in a more in-depth style. See you soon.